who are watching me.
Exactly,
I know.
because everyone searches Tbilisi and yours is the first channel which
Yes.
comes around.
Okay.
So, yeah, guys, for the ones who are seeing Teona for the first time, her channel, she has got a YouTube channel. She's quite a celebrity, and her channel's name is Tbilisi to Local Guide.
Yes.
Yeah,
Tbilisi local guide on YouTube.
yeah, and it's very difficult to tell what you do from your channel's name.
Yes.
No one can tell what you do.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm a local guide from Tbilisi, and I would love to share some episodes about Georgia's life as a guide myself, who loves to share how it is to living in Georgia, be a guide in Georgia, and showing your country to foreigners.
Exactly. So tell me, when did you realize that you want to be a tour guide?
Oh, that's a good question. It was about 15 years ago. I call it that when I became poisoned from meeting travelers, talking to them, foreign culture. So it's something that passions and drives me. That's why I have such an enthusiasm for my job that it's not a job, it's my favorite thing to do. I can say it's best hobby I have.
It is actually very interesting. Like, I always dreamt of traveling the world, recording things.
Yes.
I always had the problem interacting with people, so I never thought I could be a good guide. But yeah, I messaged Teona like I think a month back, and yeah, we decided that okay, once we are here, we'll do the segment where you guys watching it also get to know what it is like being a guide, because guides know everything of the city, but very less people know about what guides do.
That's right. Being a guide, many people think it's easy thing to do, but it's not, because every day you have to be ready to meet completely new people, talk to them. You need a good social skills. You need to be always nice and always, but it has to be very, very natural. If you are not a person who genuinely enjoys this process, I think guiding is not for you then.
Exactly.
Because if you are, for example, introvert, it's not a thing to, or if you're office person, guiding is not maybe suitable for such personality. I'm very social person. I genuinely love meeting people and talking about culture, history, and just everyday life.
That's amazing. Okay, here, tell me about your stories. Like, let's start with the. Do you want to start with the good stories first or the bad stories first?
Both, of course, because imagine being a tour guide about 15 years gives you rich experience with different cultures, different personalities, different interests of people. It's always interesting for me. Even bad experience, let's call it not so bad, because it's experience, we always learn something from each other. So why we should call it bad? Maybe not so positive experience we can have, because it's always interesting why people can act in this negative way because of some background, maybe some problems. So that's why being a guide, not easy thing to do. You have to be able to adjust and make tour perfect for anyone.
Okay, so let's start with your best experience as a tour guide.
Yes, I always love positive people who are always open, always smiling, always in a good. I always tell to travelers, bring your best mood for Georgia travel, because no matter which hotel you are choosing, which place or which guide or what type of tour, most important is your skill to be able to understand the soul of Georgia and to be positive, to learn Georgia's life.
That's actually pretty amazing. Okay, do you remember any incident which stayed with you? A good experience. Maybe you met some tourists, who kind of changed your life or changed the way you look at life.
Of course. I can say that not one person, but many times I'm sometimes thinking after completing the tour, what an interesting person I have met today. I have grown. I see myself, because such an interesting communication we had, such a new things I have heard from countries' life in foreign areas. For example, I have not been. That's why I love my job, because it's a perfect way to travel around the world from your country without border crossing.
Exactly, you get to hear all the stories, everything.
Yes.
So
Many people, of course, challenging me, motivate me. They love spreading positive, and they love to spreading their personal knowledge that I appreciate, because they become open, and it means for me that they feel comfortable with their guide.
That's actually beautiful. Is there some place we can keep this phone? Because I actually was supposed to get my tripods, but
Yes.
I forgot that bag, and I had the handheld tripods, and they confiscated that at the Dubai airport.
Oh.
So it's just me and my hand now.
Okay.
So probably we can sit somewhere where I can keep my phone and.
Yes, maybe here. Or
I think
you
this
decide.
is good. Maybe I'll pull out something from my bag and we'll keep it in front. We can have a chat. White.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about some stories. You know, you being a tour guide, you'd have so many stories because you listen to all the stories people tell you, but not much people will be asking you what's your story.
Yes. So I do many different things outside guiding. Now I have started blog because everything not possible to share from videos. You know, many people listen me, watch me, but they need more detailed information in a written way. So I think blog format is perfect for visual learners who want to just read everything about Georgia travel, accommodation, where to eat, best Georgian food, which restaurants are in old city can be good or visitable by local. Because I think that in every country where we go, we need somebody local who explain and share the best spots. Because you as a tourist probably just see only touristic places, yeah?
That's
but
true.
With local, you have more options to try local things. Outside guiding, I also love like traveling myself, new cultures. This is something that motivates me, and that's why I'm fanatic of my job.
That's actually beautiful. Like someday I would want to do something like this, telling stories, because what you do on YouTube is, of course, like you do share your journey, you do share tips, but you also tell your story. Like, you know, I watched your video where you're exploring the abandoned sulfur bath.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was quite fascinating how, you know, one place which was once full of hustle and bustle, now it's just a ruin.
Yes, because me as a local, I have born and raised in Tbilisi. So Tbilisi is much more for me than just old city area. For sure, I know many stories, and that was my passion. When the COVID started, I started this YouTube channel.
Oh,
because
it's very recent.
yeah, very
Damn.
recent, of course. Because can you imagine for a guide, such a social person like me, no tourists.
No.
That's why I was thinking, what should I do? How to talk to travelers? I need audience. So that's why I made the very first airport video on my channel, Tbilisi Local Guide, and that video pushed me. Wow, people show interest. So I have to maybe continue, and after several videos about scamming, how to avoid scammers, or like a safety guide for Tbilisi, it became more and more popular. And that motivates me because I see many of you are commenting me how helpful you find my content when you're traveling and how well informed you feel, and that gives me so good vibes and
I
energy.
am one of those who commented that.
Thank you, thank you. This is-
Madlova, right? That's,
Yes.
Thank you is Madlova and Georgian.
Wow, that's my latest video. He has watched it.
So, yes, speaking of scams, I did experience 2 scams today.
Okay.
One was here in, it's Reich Park or Rike Park? What's it called?
Rike Park.
Rike. Okay,
Rike
so in
Park.
Rike Park, it's a bird scam.
Yeah.
They come and put it on your hand. So, that was one. And me and our tour guide,
Yeah.
we both were smoking, and this Buddhist monk, he comes, he's very sweet, he holds your hand, then he does this, he puts
Yeah.
a bracelet on you,
Yeah,
not this bracelet,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's something else, and then he does this.
Yes. My recommendation is, you know, it's very maybe general, looks like you. Avoid talking or communicating random people who try to sell some services or pushing you too much, because good things, they don't need so much advertising. You know, everyone knows it is good and you should go directly, yeah? So it will be a restaurant, it will be something, so too much over pushing is like suspicious already. So you just have to be smart during your travel. Nothing is free to expect from a different country.
Yeah, but also if someone, as you said, someone's coming and persuading you so much to try that.
Yes, too much
should be
annoying
aware of
can
that.
be. You have to show your some skills that you are not interested. That's why learn Georgian word ara. Ara means no.
Ara, oh, I have to say this. I just used to say Madlova. Ara, okay. And speaking of strangers, you know, I did feel that interacting with strangers could not be such a great idea last night. So I was walking around and these guys just called me up. It was like 12:30 at night. and they were like, "Oh, where are you from?" And they initially thought I'm a student, but then when they got to know I'm a tourist, they're like, "Ah, let's go clubbing." I was like, "No, thank you. I'll get on my way." So, do you think it's safe? Like, if it's safe, what are some things people should avoid when they're getting here? Especially me being a man, I have some kind of safety, but for women and especially kids, it might not be very safe. So, what would you suggest?
Tbilisi is very safe city. Just watch my videos to be generally be aware what you should expect. I'm very happy because gypsy gangs like almost disappeared from the city. Of course, a few
What's
cases,
gypsy gang?
like teenagers who are like trying sometimes to target tourists in the city. But I'm happy because this completely, I have never heard anyone who was impacted negatively from these teenagers. Again, that's something that in every country you should be aware of. But generally, Tbilisi is very safe for even solo ladies and anyone. You just you have to be just smart as a person and avoid too much communication if you are not interested with random people, because usually target is that to invite you but typically it's not invite or make you persuade you to do something. So be smart. Tbilisi is great city, Georgia is great, so you just always have questions.
So, what are some best experiences, not as a tour guide, but you as Teona from Tbilisi? What are some things that have stayed with you? For example, like I have this street in my city, and whenever I'm like a bit low, my mood's a bit off, I just go there, I put on my earphones, and I'm just walking, listening to music, and it heals me.
Yeah.
So, do you have such places where you just go and be yourself, no one knows you there?
Yes. Of course, honestly, in streets of Tbilisi now, sometimes I'm getting stopped, and many people, not many, but a few people ask me, "Oh, you are a journalist, or you are Teona, or we saw it." That is always positive, and sometimes people approach to me, or we take photos, and I would like to thank you for all of you who show genuine interest for me and find my content beneficial. Of course, as a local, I love listening music. You can often find me in less touristy areas, walking myself in Tbilisi. It's very with my dog also. So.
Oh, you have a dog?
Yes, and maybe you notice in Tbilisi so many dogs we have.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I noticed so stray dogs, they have something pierced, so that means they're vaccinated.
And sterilized, yes. And the stray dogs are so friendly. So because they expect always some snacks from tourists. Usually they choose good areas for near barbecue area or near shawarma to get some perfect snacks and treat themselves. So as a local, I feel more comfortable in less touristy areas, walking myself and just be myself and peaceful with me.
Because you being such a social person, I feel social people do have that space of themselves where they want to disconnect from the world. They don't want to talk to anyone, and that's true.
And not many moments, honestly. Mostly, I love being surrounded by people. This is naturally, of course, a little part of me is enjoying this in its own to be. But mostly, I'm more happy to be surrounded by foreigners, by people to talk to and share our lifestyles and so on. Because being, I'm not so introverted person, so more together is better. That's my credo.
That's good. And also, like, one cultural difference which I see in India and other countries is about relationships. So we had this shift. So Indian culture, it used to be like you marry one person and you stay with them forever, no matter how bad they are. And now there has been a shift where there has been this globalization sort of, and people, they're just divorcing left and right. There are cases where spouses are killing each other for money. There are people, so the cheating rates in India are at all-time high. So what's the relationship culture in Tbilisi like? Do you think people still here have that old school love? They believe in love, they get married.
Of course, Georgians are very traditional, very conservative, we can say, and family is very like a big thing and big holy stuff here for Georgians. So we try to build strong families, and of course, the divorce rate can can be increasing, but it does not mean that family role has decreased. So it means that Georgian people generally appreciate old traditions. So they follow traditional style, and they love to be always in a main culture of Georgia. It will be wine culture, it will be church, or it will be something very, very authentic that makes Georgia unique as a country itself.
It does. So I feel Georgia is more close to the Asian culture in terms of this, because Western culture, it is like when your kid turns 18, they have to leave the house, they can't stay with their parents. Is it the same over here?
I will tell you, many people ask me, Georgia, Europe or Asia. It's like many things you will find from European culture and many things from Eastern culture. It's normal because it's in Caucasus area that it has been melting pot for both cultures, both civilizations has crossed at this part. That's why you should not be surprised when we walk, for example, in streets of Tbilisi and we find European architecture and next to it Eastern architecture. So Tbilisi is like such an eclectic city itself. So, and of course, in terms of traditions and relationships, we can say we are traditional, but people are also at the same time very open, very accepting, very tolerant, and very kind, hospitable.
It's true. And what do you think of social media? So
Yeah.
I'll tell you my experience. So of course, me being from Gen Z, I was always on social media.
Okay.
But my mom, she is in her 50s and she never knew much about social media. So she's a Reiki master. And I suggested, why don't you make videos and you start posting? And now she has like around 4,000 or 5,000 followers or something. She gets Reiki customers, clients from there. She has students. So social media in a way had changed her life. So what do you think here in Georgia? Do you think social media is something people can actually... So being an influencer is a big deal. Now you interacted with the global world, of course. But do you think if someone wants to be an influencer in Georgia and like serve content to just Georgian people, that's a good idea?
Social media role is very high, of course, like I think, but in many countries it's like that, and people are too much into social media. And negative side is that for example, let's talk about tourism. Sometimes because of too much social influence on one product, it becomes super popular, but this product is not actually the real Georgia thing, you know. But because of many posting, too much interest for this, it becomes wow, like that. Yeah. So sometimes social media can change local culture in some negative way, but sometimes of course it can be as a beneficial and in positive style, because Georgia is a small country and many people in the world still don't know where Georgia is, you know. Sometimes
Exactly.
I'm just getting questioned where this country is, you know.
One
It's
thing
ridiculous.
which really made me wonder was that Georgia's population is 3.7 million
Yeah.
and India's population is 1.4 billion. So I was like, how is this country's almost like half the size of India, probably less than that, has such tiny population? They've built like these many wonders.
Georgian people are very proud because they maintain their traditions, history, culture. They are independent and they have something very unique soul and unique traditions that makes country very special and interesting for travelers around the world. You are right, population and our territories are not such a big, but still it's very interesting, exotic and full with its richness, with its flavors. And my recommendation, never ignore Georgian food when you travel here.
Okay, let's do that segment where you give us top 10 Georgian foods people must try. So if someone's coming to Georgia, they must try it.
Of course, I will, and I also share some recommendations for vegetarians, because a few friends from India asked me to make even video about vegetarian food options. It can be very helpful. Number one, of course, is khachapuri when you are in Georgia.
Khachapuri.
Yes. This is like a cheese pie. You will find many different forms, not only in boat shape, khachapuri that is super popular. We have round shape, we have different types and sizes also khachapuri. So don't get shocked when you see too many options of khachapuris when you arrive in Georgia. And of course, if you are a cheese lover. One of the important food I also recommend is khinkali. It's Georgian dumplings, full with juice, and it's so flavorful, and just blows your mind. If you are vegetarian, I also would advise never ignore eggplant with walnut sauce. It's very traditional, it's very delicious, and it's super healthy and wonderful with its rich taste. I can also advise if you love chicken lover or chicken meat, you should always try in Georgia shkmeruli. Shkmeruli, try it.
Shamaruli.
Yeah, why not? It's good. So it's a chicken meat coming from northwest part of Georgia, and with white sauce and garlic. It's just wonderful home cooked food. Georgian cuisine is rich with its diversity of regions. Every region in Georgia has their own highlight food that creates overall Georgian food. So you have to be ready to get some calories.
But I don't see like much obese people in Georgia, so people are exercising as well.
Because people love being sporty, walk a lot, and they love to keep shape, keep fit in a good shape. But it's not easy, believe me. As a Georgian, I have to say it's not easy because our food is too delicious.
Yeah,
and
it
wine also.
Wine, okay. I have Kaketi too tomorrow, so I'm very excited for the wines.
Yes, wine. Georgia is famous because 8,000 years history of winemaking we have. So when somebody asks me, Teona, which is best wine? This is my how should I say? Because more
Can't
than
pick one.
500 grape sorts. Can you imagine? Just more than 500 grape sorts we have in Georgia. That makes our country as a cradle of wine.
Cradle wine. Okay, and speaking of the general demographic, we have seen around the world. Okay. So we have seen around the world that people more they use social media, they are having this kind of inferiority complex. They think every time they open Instagram, it's like someone is better than them, someone's better looking, someone has better things.
Yeah.
So it's causing depression. Overall, mental health is becoming a big issue around the
Yeah.
world. So what do you think Georgia is? Do you think Georgians are facing some issues like that?
Not much, honestly. It's something very personal, individual. Maybe for a person typical, but generally not, of course. I think that we should not compare to anyone, so we have our own life path. So comparing each other is not like, life is not a marathon, so you have to enjoy the process from life, not just only results from it. So
And
it's
this
more
does show. So I've seen this thing. So other European countries, people are like so overdressed. So people have a leather jacket, they have
Yes.
a trench coat on top of it, and they have they are like putting so much effort just to look good. But Georgian people dress what they love.
Yes, and very comfortable and very casual. Casual is our style, and Georgian people love black color. Maybe you will be surprised. Many
Yes.
Georgians love black.
It's like everywhere. I can spot like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10
Me is
people.
exception Georgian. I'm not so much black lover, but I can confirm as a Georgian that black is favorite color here.
Another thing, Georgians are not racist. Like I've seen that Georgians are not at all racist.
No, Georgian people are very open, very friendly. You just have to be very nice person, very welcoming by yourself, positive energy. So Georgian people are not judged full with judgment. I can say, yeah, like that. People ignore nationality or religion or some background if you are a nice person. So just be nice when you are Georgian, and these other factors are not so important for our communication, friendship, and so on.
That's true. And yes, one thing which Indians love to know is opinion of other Georgian people, people from other countries about them. So what do you think about the Indians you have met so far? And you can be very honest
Yes.
about that. I don't want you to fabricate the answer just because you're a tour guide.
Yes.
I want you to be completely honest. What do you think about Indians as a community, their culture, everything?
Yes. So I know several Indian students who are studying here in medical university. They like, honestly, what from my personal experience, being having a student's life in Georgia, because it's totally complete cultures we have, and even food, even every day. So it makes them exciting to be in this country and try our food. They always ask me which is like traditional concert or event, or I sometimes get such questions because they want to learn more about our culture. I appreciate such genuine interest coming from the heart and genuine interest for Georgia as a country to learn, because it's always good when we try to respecting local culture where we are and try to learn the culture that is hosting us. So this is very nice for me as a Georgian to hear that, for example, students are interested to participate, or they just to attend some local festivals or find some ways to get more social and adjusted and be open with local culture. So this is good. I think we always try to build bridges and build our cultures and communities together.
That's actually the best part, and I have also realized that Georgian music is actually very delightful to hear, because the people I'm traveling with right now, they have a very selective taste of music. They only listen to select few songs.
Yes.
And our tour guide, he was playing some Georgian songs, and
Yeah.
everyone was enjoying it. You're like,
Yes.
okay, turn up the volume. It's like so much fun.
Yes, Georgian people generally are passionate and they admire their own culture, music, dances, and I will tell you, it's included in UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage. So don't get shocked that Georgians spontaneously can dance in a restaurant, for example. If you happen in a
I did
typical
see
restaurant,
that.
dancing.
The statue of the emperor just across the street. There were like people dancing for no reason.
Yes, this is very common thing here. That because such a moments are very natural here, especially when the wine is so good here in this country. And generally, Georgians are quite expressive, and when they see that you are like nice person, it becomes this barrier. Even like you don't see anything, a barrier at all. So. But what I have to notice also, firstly, many foreigners tell me that people are not so smiling when they come here, that they notice. Because Georgian people are very, how can I say, careful and not like super smiling just by nature, because we believe that we want to smile and it has to come from the heart, not always like that.
Yeah, not to put on a fake smile for no reason.
Yes, better not to smile if you don't feel smile. But when you smile, it has to be natural. So we appreciate. So when you get closer to the person, you will see how the face changed, and always learn a few Georgian words. Madlova,
Madlova, Gamar Jovan, Ara.
Perfect, 3. So you are good to go. Green light.
And there's one very complicated word which I'm trying to learn since 2 days. How do you say goodbye? Something dosak.
Na khwam this.
Da kwam this.
Na khwam this.
Na kwam this.
Yes.
Okay. There's a tour guide every day. He's like, I told you yesterday. I was like, yeah, not from this. Okay.
Yes.
It's like, yeah,
I know it can be challenging, but it's not impossible. Like
yeah, I mean, if I practice it a couple of more times,
Yes.
I think I'd be good to
practice in a shop, in a cafe bar, in a restaurant, or just when you to get some service and so on. Just say Madlova. It's always, you will see how people change.
The expression changes because we have this. So my parents, they are very stuck to Indian food. So
Yes.
at least one time in a day, they would need Indian food.
Yes.
So we have booked like Indian hotels, and of course Georgians are managing those Indian restaurants. So I go in there, they're like Namaste, and I'm like Gamar Jova, and their expression changes. Like, oh, yeah. I
Yes.
said Madlova, they
It's
smile.
always good to win the heart of the locals.
It does. It also helps in making friends, I guess, because I was in Malaysia, and there I think thank you was called terima kasih.
Oh.
And I say terima kasih. Someone tells me terima kasih, and they say hello. So it's actually
Good.
beautiful. Okay, this one thing people are fascinated about. Are there any haunted places over here?
Yes. They can contact me from YouTube, because you can just leave me comments there and ask, tell me about that you are coming, you are interested, or just check my blog if you are interested to travel to Georgia and you need somebody local like me who will be glad to spend your day and make planning for you and make everything in a personalized way, because there are many options of group tours. Of course, you can also find big bus tours, everything, but I mean, if you want something authentic experiences for you only as a person, with dedicated for your interest, dedicated for something, so this is always better to have private tour with local. And you can just watch my videos, leave me comment here, or just in a video descriptions there is always also comment sections, and it's easily to find contact or mail for me, and just say the blog, so it's not so difficult. He did it successfully.
Yeah, I did successfully, and now we are here, we are talking. So yes, it works. She's real, she's not AI generated.
Yes, many people ask, oh, are you Teona? You just replied me. Yes, because it is me who makes and who builds this YouTube, so I put my energy. My issue is that mainly I'm a guide, so when I'm in a tour I don't find so much time for videos, because it takes so much time for editing, for everything, and it's not so easy sometimes as it looks to make videos.
I know. I've been making videos for like since 2015.
Oh,
I've done vlogs, I've done
Yes.
commentary videos, I've done the
Yes.
sketch videos, I've
Yes.
done gaming, and I know it's very difficult.
and you need time and effort for it.
Yes, so if someone's watching this, go subscribe to her channel, subscribe to my channel also.
Yes, do it, because too much energy is spent, and so this
I've taken like a 8-hour flight to be here, and she
Yes.
has she has found time in a busy schedule.
Yeah.
So of course, and yeah, so I was asking, are there any like places which are like haunted? Are there any ghosts?
You know that so it's interesting place. Tbilisi you just need to figure out what is passion for you, which places are interesting. This city definitely has many interesting and cool parts. Just
No, I
narrow
mean
down.
like the ghosts, like what do you call it? Something horror, like a graveyard, and you see a lady sitting at night.
No,
and you
no,
go-
nothing like.
Okay, so no ghosts, no paranormal things.
No, it's not like to be like famous with. Maybe you can find some narrow down concept in somebody makes such a tour, but it's not a common thing here. Okay, such a stuff.
Ah.
So it's something very limited interest of.
But actually, people don't explore that as well.
Mhm.
The paranormal tourism, it has exploded across the world.
Yeah.
People try to find some kind of entity, some ghosts, some
Or cemetery tour sometimes.
yeah, cemetery tours.
Yes.
That's actually a big thing.
Yes, but honestly, it's not so. It is something specific direction, not like every day, like maybe. So you just need to narrow down your interest. Even I always say, as a first timer, take general stuff and then you narrow down what is interesting for you personally. So
Exactly.
every person has their own inside passion. It will be So for example, many tourists, they are interested in shopping or museums or something, or nightlife or so. So just you should figure out what is interesting for you. It will be cemetery tour, or it will be like visiting a bazaar.
Exactly. And I would just keep at least 2 days free in Tbilisi, because it's so beautiful. You can just walk around and you can explore so much, because
Yes.
when you're also in that predefined group tour, you don't get to spend time and explore that place and its fullest. So yes, I think you guys should try that. Take out 2 days just for yourself.
Yes, generally 2 days is definitely needed for Tbilisi. 1 day for Old Town to see Old Town area, and next day you should need to explore New Tiflis and flea market and other cool stuff as per your own interest. So even 3 days will not be too much. So 2-3 days would be pretty good for Tbilisi. And from Tbilisi you also should take day tours, like Vine region. It will be Mount Kazbegi or like cave towns, depending on your interests. So this country has many things to do. My advice would be also, if you want to, if you are into Black Sea or like such nightlife, and Batumi city, it's very cool, but you need longer time.
Exactly. Because
Minimum a week.
I am here for like 11 days now,
Mhm.
and I still feel it's too less.
Yes.
I need more time in
I
Georgia.
will tell you that 2 weeks is pretty good for Georgia to see everything. Like it will be mountains, it will be Black Sea, it will be Tbilisi and other cities also, and cave towns and Prometheus and west part of Georgia canyons also.
I was heartbroken because we had planned for that Gudori ski resort and
Yeah.
there's no snow left over there.
Yes, that's a good point because snow season in Georgia starts from December till the end of March. We have plenty of snow, but not in Tbilisi. Don't expect much snow in Tbilisi. Outside, countryside, like for example, Gudori is too freezing and you need all your best thermal full equipment to be ready for such a cold climate, and many travelers just want to experience such a cold climate. If you are coming from such hot countries, for example, it looks exotic too in terms of weather also and climate. So if you love or want to try skiing, snow activities, come in December till the end of March and you will see plenty of snow activities what you can do at our ski resorts. Not only Gudori, we have other ski resorts, but Gudori is most popular because it's easiest with from Tbilisi, like closer.
Gamarjova.
Gamarjoban.
And yeah, okay, I forgot the one.
Yes.
Kids here, they're like just playing around and it's fun to watch because we don't get to see these things around. People just playing so openly.
Yes.
There's very less pollution over here.
Yes.
That's very good.
Yeah. Yes, we try like to make area green and make it as clean as possible in terms of air quality also. Of course, like in big cities, we have also issues with this, but anyway, we try to make it better.
Okay, so I haven't seen people put like garbage anywhere around, but I have seen people throw cigarette butts. And what do you think of the smoking culture in Georgia?
I have to say that it's a very heavy smoking culture here. Georgians love smoking, and you will see everywhere this movement. It will be street or out areas or special corners. So yes, you should be ready because Georgians love smoking and it's a very heavy culture, we can say here. Not only wine and good food.
Yeah, because smoking honestly is one activity, so it's like some people really enjoy it and I'm one of those, and some people hate it. They're like, oh, how can they smoke in public?
No, not like that. It's very normal, we can say here. Nobody is super like such extreme reactions or something. People just smoke or not, and it's normal, like nobody cares.
And the weather in Georgia, so like my cultural shock hit me when I realized the sun sets at 9:30, 8:30, 9:30.
Yeah.
In India it's like 5:30.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, so that's the shock for you.
Yes.
And this was shock for me. By the time it's 6:30, it's completely dark in India. And the sun rises also very early. I think it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
5:30, we can say. Depends on season. In winter, our winter is very dark and gloomy also, because you should, in general, many things start open late, like from 9, 10, like many foreigners are surprised because at 7, at 8, nothing works here, like no official institutions, no banks, no services. You should at least have to wait till 10.
And I think I've seen that with the medical students. They have the class at like 10 p.m. I was like, it's like late in the night. They're
Yes.
like, yeah, but they're like, it's still a bit sunny out there, so we can
Exactly.
go.
Yes, we have extended like a lifetime. We can say that our works like after 7, you should find that people and area becomes much more active, and till midnight. The streets of Tbilisi are quite active, but quite safe, as I told you.
And would you suggest a few things that people should avoid? So of course we have discussed like don't try to interact with strangers for no reason, because they don't want to interact directly without knowing you.
Yeah.
But anything else, people should be careful about when they're traveling alone, especially when they're alone.
You always have to be cautious with your luggage. For example, you should not sleep in a public transport with your bag. Like it's like something normal in every country to do. Yeah, you have to take care on your personal belongings, and nothing so particular like stuff. I can recommend. Just be smart, just be careful, but nothing so special for Georgia, for example. Just always better to
The normal ones.
normal
like
ones.
pickpockets are there. There are like
Yes.
petty thieves.
Yes, and be skeptical, not like to free services, so-called, because sometimes it's like scamming and it's not free. Like.
Exactly. They come, they offer
Yeah.
your service, they even give it to you, and they're like, give me
Yes,
money.
but it happens in many touristy places, so it's
does.
not a surprise. Or for domestic transportation or something like public transport is always good choice. It's cheapest and it's best way of moving around in the city. So I advise, and to feel like a local is always good.
And I haven't even seen many beggars in Georgia so far.
Yes.
That's a very unique experience which I've had, because I've traveled to like what, 8-9 countries, and I've seen beggars almost everywhere. Malaysia was an exception.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've seen beggars in Vietnam, Thailand, I've seen them in Middle Eastern parts. So yeah, that's actually, so has government done something actively for that?
Honestly, of course, people, I cannot say that Georgians are rich. No, of course, we have financial and economical problems here. Georgia is not a rich country financially with too much production of something. We have poor people, but not homeless people, you know?
Oh,
That is, they have something to where to live, like, yeah. But our country is not so rich with programs of helping or assisting. They just have something maybe small, but they have their own to live, you know. This is most important and fundamental, not to try to living in a street, like, for example, yeah. You have to try to get your money from a job, not
So
just
do you
asking
think
money.
it's easy to get a job for someone who might not have enough education?
It depends on professions. Now, technological works are very increasing and very like demanding and well paid, we can say. But some professions are possible, like low standard or low incoming positions without too much education. You can have like service industry, for example. Yeah, that's not much difficult, but generally unemployment, we can say that it's quite high and problematic in Georgia, because our country is not so rich, is not so resourceful. So yeah, and salaries are not very high.
So how much would an average salaried person make? So let's say a graduate, he had just
School time teacher, for example, let's take like about 400 euro. Like that's not
400 euros a month. Okay, I think that's somewhat similar to India.
Yeah, so it's and especially when you have some rental, daily costs or something. So this is very, we can say, low. Like,
Yeah,
so
and
for
rentals
such
are
a
expensive
teacher,
here.
rentings has increased because, like, you know how it's economy, like conflicts, it will be viruses and many stuff. It's changed pricing. Georgia was even cheaper as a country, but over the years many things changed, and unfortunately for negative.
Yeah, and you have seen a change because you have been here since you were a child and you're born here, so of course you have seen
Yes.
it. So that's actually quite fascinating, you know, how things change over time.
Yes, of course. And the many like global political events, of course, impact on prices, and it will be fuel or like daily product or rental or something. And then when the price increase, it's not so easy to decrease, you know.
Exactly, it just goes up. It's
Goes.
inflation.
But your salary is not changing, you know.
Exactly. That, I think everyone would relate to that.
Yes.
And yeah, so I wanted to ask, I forgot the question again.
Yes.
So-
Too many questions had been asked, but I'm definitely I would like to thank you so for your interest for me, for Georgia, for Tbilisi. I appreciate this effort that has been done, and I want for every traveler, when you are watching me, I want you to wish you perfect trip in Georgia. Georgia is great country. It's worth for your visit. So make sure to put it in your travel list. You will not regret it, because this such a small country has so many things to offer. It will be cuisine, it will be nature, it will be mountains, it will be Black Sea. So just choose your interest, plan your trip ahead, be prepared for best experience, be nice, and learn a few Georgian words.
Yeah, that's the must. If you want to make friends in Georgia, you should learn the Georgian words.
Yes, it's beneficial. Of course, there are some, for example, medical students. They often ask me, "Is it really mandatory, like to without Georgian to live?" So programs are in English, yeah, in universities, but still, in a daily connection, for daily understanding, you need some Georgian, for your better socializing here.
Yes, that was my question. So I wanted to ask, how many people in Georgia speak English?
Oh, young people, any young person, you should stop in a street and ask in English, because English is mandatory in our school education. But Georgia was part of Soviet Union, and Russian was dominant language in old times. So that's why old generation are more Russian speakers, so they understand Russian well. But young generation are more English friendly. So I would advise to try it. And communicate with the locals. Of course, if you know Georgian firstly, if not, then young person with English.
So I think that's from my side. Any questions you have for me?
Oh, how many days you have for Georgia?
I am here till 1st of July.
Okay, and I'm sure that this country will never leave you like lack of experiences. You should go to Batumi also, as you told me. You have your plan. Because keep in mind that July, August is very busy here. Generally, now it's June, so it starts increasing. So it will be lively. So at any season, Georgia is interesting, and I'm sure that even one person comes winters and he comes summer. So and difference totally experience becomes, because the same country but season makes it very different.
Yeah, because I said it's usually snows in December in Tbilisi, and I was like, okay, it's going to be cold, so I packed like trench coats and jackets.
Yeah.
And I come in, it's so hot. It's
Yes,
pretty humid.
It's hot. And July is also very hot. And
That's I think the guy also the scammer.
Yes, he's not local. Like he's like trying to communicate tourists and ask some services or something like.
Yeah,
so.
he's
Anyway,
using the bracelet.
just remember Ara. In such case, if you are not interested.
Ara. I think
And
for him,
if
no
you
would
want
work.
to try something, just ask in advance price always.
Yeah, that's the best.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you so much, Teona, for your
Thank you
time.
so
it
much
means
for-
a lot. It
Yes.
honestly means a lot. You took time, and
Make
we
sure-
could tell people about your
Yes.
journey.
Yes.
This wonderful country.
Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for watching us. Hit the subscribe button for my channel, for this beautiful blog, and appreciates the effort has been done. All the best. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.